Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. My experience and expertise is in scaling all types of medical businesses. And this isn't a podcast telling you you should do this. I'm just telling you how I did this. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. And if you're in the aesthetic or wellness industry, you have a medical clinic, I invite you to join my mastermind where we help level you up. We help grow your company. dralexspinoso.com/charismetics or go to joincharismetics.com. And this is where I directly interact with entrepreneurs that have medical businesses, help them scale, grow, and level up. And you can also follow me on Instagram, dralexspinoso.com.
Hello again.
As always, hello, Miss Amanda May. We don't have a nickname yet. It's only been
No.
2 episodes.
Yeah, we still have to wait and see what people have to say. Today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't talk about, and that's the dark side of ambition. Something that we're going to pull the curtain back a little bit and talk about it because ambition is constantly praised, but it's not always sunshines and private jets.
Yeah. No, the ambition is a double-edged sword in that if you have a lot of ambition, you're gonna think that you're never doing good enough, period. And you're gonna always push to be better and better and better and better and think you could do more and more and more and more. And it could help you build an empire, or it can help you completely burn your life down if you're not careful. So today we're gonna dive into that, and we're gonna dive into really what doesn't show up on the highlight reels like we talked about.
Mhm. Yeah, and we've talked a lot about what drives you, but we haven't really talked a whole lot about how you confront those moments when ambition has gotten out of hand.
Yeah, totally. I, without a doubt, can tell you I have sacrificed my health for ambition. I've put myself into the hospital multiple times. At other times, I've absolutely run over people. I've stayed up chasing goals I didn't even want to really care about anymore. And that's the dark side. The desire to fucking win no matter what, and the fact that the losses haunt you way more than the wins is a part of that ambition. That's the dark side of it. If you don't talk about it, it will take you out 100%.
I can relate to that statement that you've run over people for goals that you don't even want later on.
Absolutely. So what happened with that? What happened with you?
Well, I think about early on in entrepreneurism, it's like I had my stores. I remember my assistant, um, this was probably just a really insensitive moment. This was definitely not a good time. This was not one of my best moments. My assistant was helping one of our lead techs get ready for her wedding. And she was like, she's getting married. She's super excited. All this great stuff's going on. And I'm at the table at the wedding, and the whole team is talking about how they've helped get things ready for the wedding. And at some point, somebody comes out and says, "Oh, I did this and this and this," and they did it with supplies that we had at, the academy,
Mm.
'cause I had the training academy at the time, and I said, "Did you guys do all of that on company time?" Now, we're at the wedding. It definitely was not a time to address that, um, or have that conversation, and they were like, well, during downtime or when we didn't have clients and I just remember thinking like I was so upset that they call clients. Why are you making sales calls, during this time? Like, yeah, but I could have approached that with a lot more love and compassion and understanding and still set a boundary. And I think I just didn't handle that well. It felt like something very harsh and insensitive, m that I could have done a lot better. And, later on, it's like eventually I closed that store down um, and moved, transitioned back to Vegas, but, so it's like but those are people's lives. I
Yeah.
don't know, I could have just handled that a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's really one of the big things is that ambition will make you believe your goals sometimes matter more than people. And again, let me get this straight. There isn't anything that matters more than the business when you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to grow it, etc. But so the reality is that it is more important than most people, right? But if you let yourself justify every single missed birthday, every canceled dinner, every cold shoulder with your family, it's going to burn you down. And the same with your team, with your staff. Like you said, you could have handled it with more compassion if you let yourself justify the fact that, well, I was angry at that time and I'm the boss and they have to listen. And yes, I totally agree with you. They were doing that on company time. Like, what the fuck would be the first
Mhm.
thing in my head that pops up. But at the same time, bringing coming down on them, obviously, there's going to be issues later on. They're going to be like, wow, this person, I mean, what a bitch, because that's what they're going to say, or what an asshole, because if it was different, you know, and one day you're gonna look up and you're gonna realize that you're alone at the top of the mountain that you're asking everybody to climb with you because you're just too busy burning people down on the way up.
Mm. A big challenge for entrepreneurs is to be present with the people that matter the most, like what you're saying, and that how you can really get distracted when you're just focused on the business and not on the people. What types of strategies do you use that you feel like have been the most helpful to be present with the people you care about within your business?
I think one of the big things is making sure that you create eye contact with them. A lot of times you're mirroring what they say, so repeat back. These are conversational things that I've had to learn and read about because I'm not the best conversationalist. So making sure that you're listening, making sure you're making eye contact, repeating back what they say, and really asking questions based off of what they've told you. And the more you can get them to talk about yourself, guess what? For you introverts out there, the better it'll be because you don't have to say much other than be truly inquisitive and actually care about it. Just don't ask random questions like, "Hey, what's your favorite color? What baseball team do you like?" No, ask relevant questions based off what you're speaking about in the conversation that and you'll find out what this person that you're talking to cares about and you'll really make a great connection with that and that allows you to be present because if somebody's telling you a story about their life or something that they're really interested in, they'll be more excited about it. And when they're more excited about it, then it makes it easier to listen to rather than the very surface level conversation where you're like, man, this can't wait to get out of here. This place sucks. These conversations are really brutal. Um, and so having those present moments with your teammates, with your spouse are they're really important, and I think you do this better than I do. Well, actually, I don't think. I know you do this better than I do because 'cause you're a female and you're who you are. So, how do you and Sean keep yourselves grounded? How do you, stay present with each other?
Mm, that's good. It's a good question.
We don't, I just ignore him, though.
We actually
Sean does what I say. That's how he fucking does it.
no, he's quite the opposite. He doesn't he doesn't work well if he thinks I'm
Mad.
being a dictator
Oh, really?
at all. No, it doesn't.
He just, like, will not do what you tell if you tell him to
Mm-mm.
do something, he won't do it. It sounds like Brent, my business
The
partner.
exact
Yeah, Steph's the
he will
same
just
way. Steph's the same way.
it's he'll just stonewall me.
Gee, God, so annoying. So annoying.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because this is outside of the business realm, but when I have a lot going on and I need his help, let's say putting the baby's shoes on. This was a conversation we had recently. Like we're getting ready to leave the house. I get myself ready. I get the baby ready. I make sure the dogs are where they need to be. Like I'm doing all these things. He's just getting himself ready,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm,
And
mhm.
usually I'm still ready before he
Hey, it takes a
is.
lot for a man that sexy to get ready.
I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he when there are times I will be like, "Here, put these shoes on her." And he will just it's not gonna go well. He's not gonna do it
It's not gonna go well. You just
because
know he's gonna fail in
he's
that
like,
task.
"Say" he told us this was the conversation. He's like, "Say please."
And
Because
you're like,
I'm like,
"No."
"I don't have time to say please. Just get her shoes on." So I've gotten better at saying please,
That's good.
because I don't really say please very much, I guess. But so I've been more intentional about saying please. But I think my ambition and drive and my get it done attitude sometimes can be very like I need everyone to just fall into order so I can accomplish what we need to accomplish and let's say get out of the house, you know? And there's a lot to handle, manage, do. So it's like I need everyone cooperating and moving together, you know? So I will often be like, but he'll stop me. He's like, no, no, we're not doing this. So he calls me out. He'll call me out,
Mhm.
which I don't love.
Yeah.
But I know I need it sometimes.
Well, that's
So I
good.
think I think that's how we keep each other or well, he keeps me in check, I'd say. Um, but as far as being present, we're at the house a lot because I work from home. And so we're at the house a lot together. But I think we're very good at giving each other space. We have a flow to the day and Elia so that I can work and get my work done and have my space to do what I need to do. And he has his time and his space, and we don't really intrude on that with each other. Like if I'm up in the office and he knows from this time to this time I'm working, he doesn't come upstairs with her. He won't come up there. Um Usually if he really needs something, he'll text me, but for the most part, he just figures it out and that way I can stay focused. And that allows for when we are together at night for us to put our phones down and connect on something else. And we will do these fun things where he usually picks this stuff up. Like we've been at the store and he'll pick up a book and it's like a mind bender book or whatever. And we'll sit down and like have some fun playing these little mind games, like, what do these all equal? And I don't know, they're just like these fun little puzzle types of games. So we lock in that way. Or like if we're reading a book or something like that, we'll check in like what did you get out of it? What'd you read today? What'd you hear today? Because we both listen to podcasts, read different books. So we spend that time at night kind of disconnecting so that we can be present with each other. Because it would be really easy because we're together or around each other so much just to be moving without actually connecting. So I think we do that pretty well at night. And it's just kind of making sure we give each other space the rest of the day so that when we are out doing something, we're just focused on connecting.
Yeah.
And it's not every day. I don't need to connect every day
Right.
with him. Like,
Mhm.
I'm definitely not a needy kind of female.
Mhm.
I could probably go a week or 2 and then, like, catch up on everything. He likes that present time more,
Yep.
so we do that more often for him,
Yep.
probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you? What do you and Steph do?
Um, let's see. I think we try and make sure that we have date night every week where we just go to a lunch or to dinner together and kind of connect that way. It's got to be scheduled or else I end up working all night long. If it's not scheduled, it's not forced. So we really focus on doing something like that, making sure that we're connecting that way. I think at home again, I work and she knows, but she'll bring the babies and the kids to come give me hugs and kisses throughout the day and say hi throughout the day. And so that breaks up my day for sure. And that helps me connect with obviously the kiddos and everything, even working from home, because usually even here I'm separate. Um, so those things all really help me, kind of stay grounded in that process as well.
Mm. Yeah, it helps focus on what's most important. And the people that are supporting this ambition that we have, this drive that we have day to day with handling other things for us to actually do it. Like Sean's with Elliot all day, so I can, be recording podcasts. It's like, so I know when I get home, he's going to need some quality connection. I know that. Or he's going to need quality alone time because, there's that too. How do you manage that? How do you manage being present with yourself?
Mm. Well, I usually hang out here in my office, put some candles on, and a little bit of Jergens baby lube. No.
Even Mason laughed
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that.
Mason laughed at that. How do you be present with yourself? Um, I think to be present, it's a good question. I think throughout the day, working on the business quietly, um, meaning I don't have to be on a phone call with anybody else or et cetera, just focusing on working on the business or what I need to get done. That's kind of time for me. Uh, some other things might be time for me. Sometimes, well, I'll work out in the garage. That's time for me. Making sure that sometimes I'll work on the cars. That's time for me. But again, it's like I come last when it comes to a lot of those things. Where it comes to time for me, I don't think it's healthy for most people. But the I think a lot of entrepreneurs, their escape is really like the working out or the meditation or really the business. Building the business is like their escape. It's what they like to do because if they can't turn it because they can't really turn it off. Um so and I don't really need to do a lot of that other stuff because I feel like I'm just not being useful when I'm not building things because that's what I like to do. So if I go on vacation, like I hate vacation. I truly hate it. Like I like spending time with my family and I like hanging out on the beach for like 15 minutes. And then I'm like, "Oh, this is boring." Like, what else is there to do? Like, can we do something else? Can we do some sort of activity? Like, can we go check out, I don't know, history buff ruins or stuff somewhere that's local? My wife hates that. Like museums, she's like, museums are the fucking worst. I love museums.
I do too, yeah.
um, but it's yeah, it's you won't really have a lot of time to yourself when you're really trying to build something huge. And that's just part of the game. That's just part of it. You just gotta accept that. If you have a hobby, you're not working hard enough, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hobbies come later.
I have a painting that is, like, it's not done, it's been sitting in my office on the easel for, like, a year.
There you go.
Haven't touched it.
It's a 12-year art piece.
But I think for me, I don't need that connection with myself all the time, like that alone time, but I do recognize when I'm feeling the need to get filled up, and so I will put boundaries around I won't even take my phone into the gym with me so that I'm solely focused on my workout, but I'm usually doing something. Like, my connection with myself and being present with myself includes doing something. It's not like laying around ever, or whatever. I gotta it's like reading a book could be even being present with myself or listening to a podcast or something like that, but, um, yeah, I do that more so when I really feel like I need to focus and connect with myself, I'll just turn my phone off and, like, put it in a different room. Because
Well, that's good. Yeah.
then I'm not tempted between sets to answer emails.
There you
Because
go.
I do that, like,
Yeah.
I will multitask in
Catch
that
up
way.
and answer the emails.
Yeah.
So one of the things that ambition can do is, and I touched on it before, it can absolutely destroy your health. Like that's the obvious part. It can absolutely destroy you. The physical cost of it is ridiculous sometimes. You're going to have sleep deprivation. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night sometimes with anxiety. You're going to have anxiety all day. Your heart's going to be racing. You're going to have like sometimes shitty nutrition because you just want to feel good. So you just eat like crap to make yourself feel good. You're going to have hormone burnout because your cortisol is spiked through the roof and your body is in a constant state of inflammation and pain. I've lived through all of it. I lived through all of it. There was a thing like 2 weeks ago that made my cortisol spike, and I gained 5 pounds in a day because it was just, like, water weight and inflammation of the body is like, "Fuck," sort of thing, freaking out, and that's just part of it. And the reality is building a business is going to take a physical toll on you. It's going to take a physical toll. I mean, look at all the entrepreneurs that are out there and the people leading businesses. There is a lot of people that are really unhealthy, or they look really unhealthy, or they're definitely not hitting the gym, etc. Um, you know, and there are a few obviously that are completely opposite of that, that really focus on taking care of their bodies, like Jeff Bezos, or you look at Elon Musk's hairline, or you look at uh what's his name? Meta, Zuckerberg, and he got into fighting and exercising. So there is obviously the outliers as well in that, but a lot of times entrepreneurship will really kill you, will really hurt you. And if you want to keep doing it, at some point you have to make sure that you take care of your health, because the old saying is, it's great to have a lot of money, but who gives a shit if you can't spend it? It's great to do this all for your family, but who gives a shit if you're never there and you're dead, so you
Yeah.
can't see them grow old.
What is that statement? The rich man has a million problems, but the unhealthy man only has one.
Yeah,
Or
it's
yeah, I think it's
it's
like that.
it's the well,
You
no,
know, I
it's
never
it's
get these
there
right.
you
So
go.
it's
Would you
something
say the
along
ri the
those
rich
lines.
man what? That's a good one, though. I like that one. I'm gonna keep that one you just
The
said.
rich man has a million problems, the unhealthy man or the sick man only has one.
That's
Or
close.
wish.
That's
One
close.
wish?
Wish. There you go. Yeah, you say that it's the healthy man wishes for 1,000 things, but the sick man only wishes for one.
Hmm.
And so you're absolutely right. You can't win if you're dead.
Yeah. I this morning I had an experience with this. Ended up Elliot woke up at like 4:45 this morning, and so I was awake at 4:45, and instead of trying to go back to sleep, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get in a run and get in a lifting session, and then I'll get ready and, do all the other things I need to do before coming to the podcast." And I got in the car after a very packed period of time from 4:45 this morning to 7:45. So I had a 3-hour window where, like, I did my nails, I got clothes ready, I did a 2-mile run, a 30-minute weightlifting session. So, like, I did all these things, and I'm in the car, and I can feel all this tension in my body, and I'm just, like, bound up and, like, tight, and I don't know, it felt like I was bursting, and I thought, like, "Let me give myself a minute, get on the freeway and, calm settle into this drive a little bit." But I started thinking, like, I did that to myself. My ambition of, like, "Okay, I want my six-pack back, and, I wanna do this, and I wanna do that, and I wanna" all these things I pile on to myself because I wanna do better, be better, constantly be going. It's like I didn't need to do all that. I could have went without doing a workout today, or my nails needed done. Um, but it's like, what does it feel? I'm at the place now where I'm really starting to pay attention to what does it feel like in my body when I do these things? And it's taken me a long time to get here because for 20 years I haven't. It's been go, go, go and at the effect of all the things that you mentioned. And so now I'm going like, okay, wait a minute. Like, how do I back up here and take control of my health and what it's doing to my nervous system? And that's important because that's where what you're talking about, like hormone burnout and all of that stuff. What is happening to my nervous system when I'm doing this to myself? And long term, what does that mean?
Yep.
Because I can't do that forever. And I just don't want to live in that space anymore. It's not effective. But I feel like as an entrepreneur, it's easy to obsess over those KPIs, the key performance indicators. I know if I run and lift and eat this, like my body's gonna look a certain way. Or I know if I do these things, the business is gonna do this, And so it's easy to focus on that, but ignore the signs that our body gives us or, having your hormones tested. It's easy to ignore what's happening inside our bodies because we don't necessarily see that.
So how do
And
you balance that then?
well, I think one, recognizing that you're doing it. I mean, you had to recognize at some point, like, this isn't healthy for
Yeah, yeah,
me.
yeah.
I
When I
gotta,
was in the hospital.
I gotta cool it.
The 4th time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Took you 4 times.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't be
at
me,
least you're
don't
there.
be me, assholes.
At
Don't be me.
least you got there.
Yeah.
But balancing that is one, recognizing it, and then being willing to modify until you get to a place where it doesn't feel that way. And I also recognize there are times I need rest and it's okay. Like give myself permission to sleep until 7 or 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
Like that's okay.
Yeah.
Um and when it's like you can't kill your body and scale your business. Well, we see people that like you gave examples of CEOs or entrepreneurs that are really unhealthy, but that's not gonna last long term. They're gonna have all this success with their business, but I question sometimes when you see those I feel like how you take care of one thing is how you take care of all things.
Yep.
So there is a level of attention and care to the body. If you don't have that, I question if you've really got your business together like you think or like you present. Because if you are letting things slide with your own health and wellness, and I'm not talking about periods of time where we let things go and then rebalance and get things back in order. I'm talking about when people really let things go. If you really let something go and you see those people that are super unhealthy, I do question if their business is what they say it is
Yeah.
because there's like a
Yeah,
mismatch.
it's true. I mean, I have multiple friends that say that their success in their business is direct and the level of success is directly tied to their personal health and their personal excellence. The healthier they are, they say, the more money they make. And it's really when you look at it, it makes physiologic sense. The healthier you are, the more water you drink, the clearer your mindset, the better your metabolism will be, the more neurons you'll have firing in your brain. And so it makes sense, and obviously, there's a bunch of my colleagues and friends that they were 300 pounds and they got really healthy, and they're like, "Man, my business has exploded
Mm,
because of that." Because if you're competing against a fat guy, you're gonna probably be able to do twice as much work as the fat guy, because the fat guy will just gas out at, like, 3 p.m. every day. They'll just be exhausted if they're trying to keep up with your pace. That's just and you're not running, you're just living life. If you're living life every day, they're gonna gas out at some point, and you're gonna beat that fat person 9 times out of 10. And so that's really there is a direct correlation between how healthy you are and the amount of money that you can make. Now, there is the opposite of that, where you've got a bunch of bodybuilders who are just you know, making $0 out there and they're meatheads and they look phenomenal. Same with females that look phenomenal in the gym, but they're not the sharpest, pencil in the box. It's there is parts of that.
yeah, yeah,
And
it's a good
again,
point.
we're
That's a
this
good
is an
point.
entrepreneurship podcast, not a bodybuilder podcast, so we're not talking directly to that. But it's really important to realize that you will be able to function better as an entrepreneur. You'll get more done as an entrepreneur. You'll be smarter as an entrepreneur if you do those things. I mean, the number one way I didn't cure it because I'm still exhausted sometimes, but I cured my daily exhaustion was drink a gallon of water a fucking day. It, cured my exhaustion all day long. And I knew that. Like, I dehydrated all fucking day long. You drink an energy drink and then you don't really try and drink as much water as you should during the day and you sustain yourself on diet sodas. And you're like, wow, why am I tired all the time? Well, you should probably look at your own fucking hydration, idiot. This is me talking to myself. So, drink a gallon of water a day. Hey, guess what? I feel really energized now.
Mhm, mhm.
Congratulations, dipshit. You did one super easy thing that all humans on earth know about. Like, And so it's making little decisions like that though. That's super important.
And you've made multiple times in your life decisions where even like when I met you, you were a little more round and then you got
That's a
you
good way of saying you were a fat piece of shit. When I'm
you
around, I
you
was
got
bald and
fit,
round.
you got fit
Yeah. And my hair grew back
and your
from
hair grew
just
back.
respect.
And then you're now back on this like, okay, focus with diet, exercise. What do you feel like what happens for you when you go, okay, this I'm going to shift and start focusing on this aspect of my health again?
The problem with like for me dieting and exercise is that I think it's the complaint that most women have, like, "I diet and exercise and I don't lose anything, and he cuts out sodas and he loses 10 pounds."
Mhm.
Like, when I just really turn it on, I did bodybuilding before that, I did bodybuilding during residency. So, I can fit things in and just make sure that my schedule is on point and eat like I love to eat. I'm Italian and Puerto Rican, but there's a point where my brain's just says, like, all you're eating is to sustain yourself. Like, don't be a stupid piece of shit.
Mhm.
I can easily do that just because of discipline that I've had in the past. So if I do it, I'll lose 15, 20 pounds in 2.5 weeks without breaking a sweat.
Wow.
Does not really bother me. You do some extra cardio, lift the same, don't eat like a piece of shit, and it just happens.
Diet makes such
And
a
so
big
it's
difference.
really just like diet and focusing back on that and doing and making good choices and the main thing that I do is food. I usually order and eat half of it because wherever you are at a restaurant, like half is usually enough for a serving. So I order food, eat half of it. So I always have 2 meals. If I order like a burger or whatever, I cut it in half and I take the buns off and I put the meat on the other half. So I got a double burger, but a half of a double burger. And
Mhm.
I eat half the amount of bread and shit with it. I don't have fries or anything. So decisions like that, once I turn it on, it just clicks for me because I've had that discipline. I built that discipline over time. And for those people who haven't built that discipline, find systems and processes that will help you build that discipline. There's 75 Hard out there. My good friend Andy Frisella created that program that helps with just really mental focus. And you got to be on a diet for 75 days and there's no alcohol and you got to drink a gallon of water and you got to read 10 pages and you got to work out twice a day, 45 minutes. It's only an hour and a half. That's it. That's not a lot of time. You just got to make sure you focus on 45 minutes. And so scheduling that into your life, that will help you be disciplined. If you can't focus on discipline, look for programs, systems that work for you so that you can be disciplined. And then once you do it, have 0 outside forces that push you away from it. And it's almost like an addiction. Like, be addicted to your success. Be addicted to your improvement and focus on how you're going to do that.
Well, that's an interesting point because a lot of times people who are ambitious, that can morph into addiction. And I hear you saying that I can relate to that as well because it's like everything goes extreme. I'm really not like an in-between person. I'm either like your friend or like it's not that I'm not a friend, but I'm like we're either close or you don't know anything extra about me, like, it's one extreme or the other, and when I make a decision, I'm all in. It
Mhm.
is like, I will see it through to the end, like, wildly committed to things, but that can lead into, like, addictive personality behaviors and things like that, so maybe that's where the ambition comes from. Maybe that's where addiction comes from, and so does it does it ever line up to where it becomes a positive thing? I think it could,
Yeah.
could line up where you, you end up using that addictive nature to create something, um, and that I feel like for me, sometimes that grind, that go, 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 that constant creation mode can be addictive
Yeah.
'Cause it's weird, like how you were saying, like, you go to the beach and you're like, "Oh, okay," 15 minutes later. I'm like you, I would be looking at, like, when I was in Mexico, I didn't hang out on the beach or snorkel. I went to look at the Mayan ruins and take, like, tours around because I wanna know, like, what happened here and what were these people doing, How were they reading the moon and the stars all these
Right,
years
right.
ago?
I know you like that shit.
Yeah. So, I go find out about that stuff. Um, but addictive in this way sounds like a good thing, but there are ways that it can be negative, obviously, addiction.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, ambition can morph into an addiction that's negative. There could be an addiction that's positive, like you focus on improving, you focus on winning, but ambition can become as addictive as alcohol, as sex, as drugs, and as damning, if not worse than all of those things. That dopamine hit from achievement. I mean, that's why people are addicted to pornography because you get a quick dopamine hit and you're like, oh, I love this. I want to do this more. You have the approval dopamine hit. There's the proving people wrong, which always fucking feels good with ambition, and it's real. And if you don't check it, like it's gonna ruin your life. 100%. It is going to ruin your life. It's real, and you need to focus on knowing that this addiction can actually really hurt you.
Mm. Yeah, it's chasing the win that isn't always a matter of growth. Sometimes that's, like, avoiding what actually needs to get done, like the mundane stuff that we've talked about in other podcasts too, the things that don't feel so good about leadership or the things that people aren't posting on their highlight reels, like, when you're constantly chasing that dopamine hit, that win, that next big thing, I don't feel like that's scalable either because you have to have the balance of the day-to-day tasks. Those things aren't necessarily gonna give you that dopamine hit. But it is a part of ambitious people know, I have to do these things. This is a part of the role that I've chosen to live in life, whether it's entrepreneurism or leadership. When you wanna excuse me, when you wanna create something, you have to do all the aspects of it, not just the exciting stuff.
Yep.
And so you just can't get bored with the things that don't create that feeling of like, "Oh, yeah," in there. It's interesting too because of, like, social media, that's an addiction that people don't talk about. People are addicted to that. I mean, you see people hear about it anyway. I know I've at times gotten, 15, 20 minutes in, I'm like, "What have I been doing for 20 minutes? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I scrolling and looking at shit that does not matter at all to me?" Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes I get a good laugh. Sometimes that helps me just stop the mental process that I'm in. But for the most part, it's like I'm pretty good at, like, recognizing, like, this is stupid, and then I won't go on social media for a while. But I heard you once say, "Post and then get off of it," like,
Mhm.
don't
I
consume.
love it. Carpet bomb.
What's that?
Where you just post and sometimes you post something like very controversial or whatever, and then you just leave and you let people in the comments like fight each other. That's the best part. I love that.
And then
Carpet
do you ever
bombing.
go look?
Oh, I go look and laugh later on. Like they
Uh-huh.
they fight each other and stuff like that. That's my favorite part. Yeah.
I haven't ever posted anything controversial for that to happen,
Bruh.
but it may. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. But that might actually be the thing that I'm like, "Ooh, I need to go back and look
Yeah.
at that."
Carpet
So
bomb it. Carpet bomb it.
Um,